Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one we are going to stick to Sweden. We're going to head up towards Gothenburg once again, Göteborg as you would say in Swedish, the Swedish craft beer capital up on the west coast, and we're going to have a look at another beer from a brewery who most of you that are interested in Swedish craft beer will know about. For this one then we are going to go back to Stigbergets Bryggeri and we're having a look at their latest release through the local and småskaligt assortment. This one is the Ololeo, and it is a double IPA coming in at 8.5% ABV, and this one is supposed to be pretty damn good actually. I'm very curious to see what this one has in store. So yeah, I've reviewed a number of beers from Stigbergets before. As I've told you, these guys are the brewery who really put the hazy IPA on the map in Sweden, so for those of you watching outside of the country, of course, this is a brewery that you definitely want to check out in my opinion. I think I've reviewed somewhere in the region of, must be about 25-30 different Stigbergets beers now, and they never really disappoint actually, so check out this brewery if you haven't already. The Amazing Haze and the GBG Beer Week are the kind of classic beers that you're going to find from this brewery. But yeah, looking forward to trying this one as always, and I hope that you guys enjoy my take on it as well. So yeah, as usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery before we taste the beer. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that I've done from Stigbergets before. No doubt there will be some more at some point in the near future. I do have a couple of other Stigbergets beers in the fridge that you'll see over the coming videos. There's all the usual social media down there as well. If you want to see more reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel of course has a geography based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlists of beers from different countries. There is one there for all the Swedish beers that I've reviewed for you. That's constantly being added to, and as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries that you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about Stigbergets Bryggeri then, on to my brewery notes. So as I've told you before, Stigbergets Bryggeri are based in Gothenburg, Göteborg as you'd say in Swedish, up on the west coast, and the company was founded by Nils Hultkrantz and Richard Simonsson. Now this pair own two bars that share the one kitchen. This is the Bar Kino and the Hagabions Cafe, which can be found on Linnegatan in the city, and both of these opened back in 2007. And this building is actually an independent cinema, as the name Bar Kino would suggest. I didn't know that until I actually went and visited the place, oddly enough. But originally the idea was to brew a few beers that they could sell in the bars, and this led to them kegging and selling the beers to other pubs before starting to bottle them in November of 2014. So the original beers that they brewed were mainly English and German styles, but of course this brewery really started to make its name when they changed their attention to the American beer styles. The original head brewer that they had was Ole Andersson, who is of course now, has always been, one of the co-owners of OO Brewing, and he was replaced by Barnaby Struve for a period, who was one of the vice presidents at Three Floyds, and I think that was about 2 or 3 years ago now, if I remember correctly. But they've recently, I think it was at the end of 2018, early 2019, they opened up a new brewery at Partihalarna where they brew 5,000 litre batches at a time, and they're also working on sour beers now as well. I haven't reviewed too many of the Stigbergets sours for you, but it still seems to be mainly IPAs that these guys are producing. But they started selling their beers in 440ml cans, and this means that they're able to export a lot more as well. It used to be the 330ml bottles that they were releasing a lot of things in. But they now have a brew team of Ollie Banks, who used to work for Beavertown in London, and also Lucas Munraid, who used to work for All In Brewing, one of the numerous gypsy breweries that you'll find around Gothenburg. They opened up the brewery every so often to host a bar, and at the moment they've just opened up a new bar in Stockholm as well, the Stigbergets bar up there, which I believe opened around the 20th of March, something like that, if I remember correctly. But that bar is now open in Stockholm, so you can get Stigbergets beers in the bar up there. And of course, if you're in Gothenburg, the place to go is the Bar Kino and the Hagabions Cafe, which is a sort of unofficial tap room, if you like, of the of Stigbergets and OO Brewing, of course. So yeah, definitely worth checking out. The Hagabions Cafe is the one that's in the sort of lobby of the cinema building, while the Bar Kino is the one that is underneath. You saw me do a little out and about video for this place before, and it is pretty nice actually. It's quite a hip little place to go and visit actually. But as of April 2020, when I'm filming this review for you, Stigbergets have produced around 60 different types of beers. I think the number that I looked at a few days ago was like 63 beers or something like that. I actually think these guys have probably produced a little bit more than that. I don't know what year it was that Untappd started, so maybe that number isn't quite accurate for the total numbers of beers that they've produced, but it's the best figure that is available for the moment. So yeah, that's all you really need to know about Stigbergets Brewery for the moment. As I say, one of the really well-known Swedish breweries. These guys with the things like the GBG Beer Week, which was 2016, I want to say, or they really put the hazy IPA on the map in Sweden. And of course, Ole Anderson at the same time had the Narangi through his company OO Brewing. So those two beers, the Narangi and the GBG Beer Week, were the ones that really kicked off the whole haze craze in Sweden. And yeah, they're now classics, and the Amazing Haze is really a very, very good beer as well, and definitely worth checking out. So yeah, as I say, that's all you need to know about Stigbergets. If you want to learn more, of course, you can check out the brewery website. You can follow them on Facebook and Instagram to keep up to date with all the latest goings on, and you can check out the Rate Beer, Untappd and Beer Advocate pages to learn more about this brewery if you want to. You learn more about all the different beers that they've done. So yeah, let's get on and actually have a taste of this beer then. So I'll just let you have a little look at the artwork before we open this one up. This one looks the artwork on this is a little bit different from what I've seen from Stigbergets before. I don't know what the inspiration of the name is. Obviously, Ololeo. Maybe it's taken from a song or something, or it could be a play on words of the fact that Öl in the Nordic languages is beer. But yeah, nice artwork on this one. A 440ml can, double IPA, coming in at 8.5% ABV. Doesn't say what hops are in it, but we can obviously play a little bit of guess the hops with these beers, as we always like to do. And yeah, looks really nice. 8.5% double IPA. This one was released as part of the local and Småskaligt assortment on was it the 3rd of April? Was it the 3rd? Was it the 1st? I think it was actually the 1st. I think it was a Tuesday or a Wednesday that these were released. So this one was released actually on the 1st of April 2020. So yeah, let's get this guy out then, and we'll get on with the tasting. I do have 3 other IPAs this month to review from Stigbergets, and I've also, of course, got another collaboration beer that I did as well, which is a Helles. So if you watched my live stream videos that I did, you'll see those beers in there too. But this one is supposed to be really very good. The Swedish guys that I talked to on Instagram, Mr. Solberg, Andreas Solberg, there's also the guys Beer Hedonist, he was way up north. Then you've also got beerpigs.se as well on Instagram. These 3 guys I talked to quite a lot about the Swedish beers, and I'm sure all of them, if not 1 or 2 of them, had this beer through Glassbanken. So this beer has been available through Glassbanken previously here in Sweden. Of course, they've got their warehouses over in Copenhagen, and then the beer gets sent back into Sweden. So yeah, kind of unusual that actually. But yeah, as you can see with this one, this is actually one of the more dark and murkier New England hazy IPAs that I've come across. This must have a little bit of carapils or Pilsner, or golden, I don't know, would Golden Promise give you a colour that's quite this dark? This is definitely one of the more kind of murky, darker looking New Englands that I've come across. This one's, it's almost like a kind of orange, like light orange juice colour, this, to be honest with you. It's quite, that really is quite dark. You can see there's a quarter finger of a frothy kind of cream ivory coloured head on this one. 1 or 2 big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, a few little ones going up towards the bottom of the head there, but overall it looks kind of as you'd expect. That head is fading away, of course, just to be a very, very thin foamy layer. But yeah, looks like a nice beer, I have to say. So let's take a closer look at the aroma then and just see how we get on. That smells good. That really does smell good. So straight away with this one, you can smell the smoothness of the malt base to this. It's got a lovely kind of fresh, bready quality to it actually. I hope I'm not drinking this beer too fresh. As I've told you before, that's one of the risks with the New Englands for me that you never used to get with the West Coast IPAs. The New Englands really tend to taste a bit too green if you drink them really, really fresh, whereas I think that the sweetness that you have with the caramel in the West Coast IPAs sort of prevented a lot of that kind of vibe that you could get from these beers, to be honest. But the aroma out of this is really quite different compared to the other Stigbergets ones I've had in recent times. I mean, yeah, for me this one's got a lovely kind of, you can really smell some of the pale malty qualities out of this, and the breadiness. There is something about the aroma that's telling me it's dry hopped as well. There is a wee bit of a kind of dustiness coming out of this one. But yeah, lovely kind of, as I say, just a sort of pale malty, white bready base to the beer. There is definitely a little bit of a kind of, there is a wee bit of an oaty creaminess in there as well, but this one definitely leans more towards the kind of old school pale malty side of things. There's a wee bit of a wheaty bite at the back of the nose, which is interesting, but there is a good degree of like caramelly sort of sweetness out of this one. I don't know if it's quite diacetyl, I don't know if it's kind of like that butterscotchy note, but there is definitely a wee bit of a kind of caramelly note to this one, and that would make sense with the kind of colour that this one's got. There's two ways to darken beer: either use different types of malts, more sugary types of malts or more roasted kind of malts, or you boil the beer longer. And I somehow suspect that this one could have been boiled a little bit more. It might be a combination, but I suspect it's probably more the kind of malts that have been used in this beer, and it does smell a little bit more kind of sugary or something. So maybe there's a bit of like Carapil's Golden Promise, or just a straight up kind of caramel, something like that. Yeah, the aroma out of this is really interesting. Definitely a bit of sweet caramel there, a little bit of tiny toasty brown sugar, and also a wee bit of a kind of biscuity quality that comes out of this one as well. The aroma of the malt base on this one is really quite nice, but also quite different compared to the other Stigbergets ones I've had before. At 8.5% as well, this beer in my mind is a little bit more about the, you know, it really is a little bit more about the malty side of things. This one's definitely more malty compared to the other ones I've had from Stigbergets before. In terms of the aroma, the hoppy side of the aroma then I should say, on the green side of things, there's a nice wee bit of a kind of grassy quality to this one. There is a bit of floral note in the background, but it's not really piney or resinous or anything. This one's got a good balance between the grassy side of things and the more floral aspect. So yeah, this one's got a nice, it really does have a nice kind of, it's got a nice sort of backbone to it, this one. Yeah, the grassy side of this is really nice, and it sort of plays in with the sweet side of the malts. On the fruity side of things, I think this one's really subtle in its fruity qualities. I mean, there is a wee bit of an orangey note to it. It's got a little bit of a kind of mango-ish quality. Yeah, it has got a wee bit of a kind of mango-y note to it. It's got a wee bit of an orangey note. But yeah, it really, this beer for me, the aroma really leans towards the kind of malty side of things rather than anything else, to be honest with you. I think this will be really quite interesting. Wee bit of orange, as I said, out of this one, a wee bit of a kind of mango-y, you know, that typical mango-y, apricot-y, papaya type note out of this beer as well. So take a little bit of time and just enjoy the aroma of the beer before you get stuck into it, but I think this one will be very, very interesting. This one is the Ololeo at 8.5% ABV from Stigbergets Bryggeri in Gothenburg, Göteborg on the west coast here in Sweden. The latest release as of April 2020. Let's get stuck into this one. Slanja, skål. Oh yeah, that's definitely got a wee bit more of a malty kind of sweetness to it actually. This is quite different to the other Stigbergets beers you're going to find. But I'll tell you something that is good. I like this. This actually reminds me of the Hey Fem that I had from Dry and Bitter over in Copenhagen. It's one of these bigger, kind of thicker, sweeter, caramelly New England IPAs. For those of you who don't know, I still have the can here. Reminds me a little bit of this Hey Fem from Dry and Bitter. It's kind of, if you liked the Hey Fem, you will like this one, I think. It's not quite as big and sweet as that, but yeah, it's kind of the same. What was the percentage? Hey Fem, it was 10. Yeah, it was 10%. But yeah, this one really does have the same vibe as that actually. So yeah, hey, if you were a fan of Hey Fem from Dry and Bitter in Copenhagen, you will enjoy this. This is a big oily. It's really got a big oily kind of vibe to it as well. It's as if they're trying to take in a little bit of that West Coast malt base with the New England actually. That's really kind of interesting. But yeah, let's try and break down the malt base of this beer then. So middle of your palate, you can feel that lovely kind of white bready malt base just blanketing the middle of your tongue. Towards the back of the palate, you do get a wee bit of a wheatiness out of it. You can get a little bit of the wheaty bite, and as you move further forward on the palate, you do get a bit of that kind of oaty kind of creaminess there. And in the very centre of your palate, that's where you get this sweet, kind of straight up sort of caramelly note. It's not toasted or anything, it really is just very, very sweet. And there's almost a little bit of that kind of butterscotchy type flavour mixing in with that. It's really, the way the malt base goes together on this one is really nice. I don't even really get much biscuit in this one until the aftertaste. You've seen how long it was since I took a sip of this beer to, you know, it's been a good while since that. And you just, the oiliness, the caramelly oiliness and straight up sweetness out of this beer is just really, really nice actually. Yeah. This is good. I mean, this gets a big thumbs up from me. I really, you know, I'd be interested to know your guys' thoughts on it as well. So let me know how you think this compares to the Hey Femme, because it really, there is just something very reminiscent about this beer. That's the sort of more caramelly and smooth, sweet malt base in this one is really, really very nice. I love how that goes together. Yeah, and the malt base is a big oily one. This is, if you know, if you like some of the New England flavours with the wheaty and the oaty notes, you get that on the edge of it, but really in the middle of the palate you've got a very kind of sweet and oily, kind of caramelly, butterscotchy type flavour out of this one, which is really nice. There's a wee teeny bit of a biscuit maybe, but not very, very much. I'd be really curious to know what the exact malt base in this one is. Does it say what's on in this beer on the side? It says it's got malted oats, hops and yeast. Ah, so they don't have, it doesn't say Vete, so this one doesn't have wheat in it, but I think it does have a little bit of an almost wheaty like bite to the back of the palate. Maybe that's why it smells a little bit more bready compared to some of the other ones that I've had. But yeah, that malt base is really nice, big and oily. On the hoppy side of things then, back corners of the palate there is a little teeny bit of earthiness there. As you come further forward along the sides of the tongue you can feel that gradually evolve, it just smoothens out, then you get a wee bit of a floral quality at the front corners of the palate, then around the very front curve of the tongue it's a wee bit lighter and more grassy, and then behind the front curve of the palate that's where you get that nice oily bubble where those juicy fruity esters start to push their way out of the beer. Yeah, this one's nice. It's good. It's kind of similar to what I was expecting from the Aroma, to be honest, on the fruity side of things. So yeah, if you go towards the back of that, the oily palate there, you will get like a teeny little bit of darker tropical fruit. I mean, pardon me. Jeez, must have taken some of that the wrong way. But yeah, you do get a little bit of a, you do get a little touch of a kind of darker tropical fruit, like a wee teeny hint of passion fruit. But then as you move further forward from that, you start to get the really soft, kind of juicy things out of it. Could it be, you know, could it be a little bit of Idaho 7 that's coming out of this one? Because Idaho 7 gives you those lovely big kind of tropical fruits. It doesn't strike me as being like Citra or something like that. I've got a feeling, there's something in my head wants to say that this could be Idaho 7 and Mosaic, or it could be like Idaho 7 and Sabro, or something like that. The other hop that could be a tropical one is El Dorado, but it leans a bit more towards the pineapple-y side of things. And this beer, it's got a good orange vibe to it, but there are those lighter tropical fruits kind of around the orangey side of things. This has got a big oily orange quality to it. It could even be straight up Amarillo, but Amarillo is not that popular a hop to brew with at the moment. So that could be the thing. They might be going old school and using Amarillo in this one, but then, as I say, you've got Sabro, you've got Azaka, you've got Mosaic, I think you've got Waiti from over in New Zealand and things as well. Pacifica is another one that's got a lot of orangey notes. Mandarina Bavaria, there's a lot of kind of big orangey hops out there. There's a lot of things it could be, but it definitely, the orangey character in this definitely has a bit of that old school Amarillo vibe to it, which is nice. So yeah, that fruity side of the beer then. A little bit of a lighter tropical kind of fruit there. You can detect a teeny bit of that kind of darker soury kind of thing at the back. But then as you move further forward, very quickly it becomes a little bit sort of I don't even know if I want to say mango, to be honest, but there is a little bit of a kind of lighter tropical type vibe there at the back, but then very quickly it becomes a big oily orange, and that sort of sits there on that kind of juicy fruity part of the front of the palate. It's a big oily kind of orangey note, this one. It maybe leans further forward, it maybe leans a little bit more towards the tangerine side of things. It could be a combination of these different hops that are giving you these things. I mean, Azaka might be a good candidate for this because of the lighter tropical notes, but also you've got the big juicy orange. It could be Azaka and Mosaic or something like that, to be honest with you. So yeah, but it doesn't quite have the earthiness for Mosaic in my mind. So yeah, interesting thing. But being the pardon me, the message to take away from this one is definitely that it's a sort of oily orange and big oily orange, and then very lightly tropical fruited IPA, this one. But the oily oranges really suits the kind of sweeter malt base that this beer has, and maybe that's why it's coloured orange in the way as well. A big orangey flavoured New England IPA, this one. So this one suits my kind of palate down to the ground. If you've watched the channel before, you'll know that I love these big orangey flavoured IPAs. So yeah, in terms of the mouthfeel then, I say that this is a pretty kind of top end to mid bodied, bottom end to full bodied beer. Carbonation is very smooth. It's one of the more oily New England IPAs that you're going to come across. It is a double, which you have to remember as well, so yeah, you would expect them to be a bit thicker, but really more oily rather than big and thick and creamy. In terms of IBUs, this one's pretty low. I'd be surprised if this is any more than 25 or 30 IBUs. Very low bitterness in my mind. Lovely smoothness to the malt base. Then you've got the big kind of sweetness on top of that. Some of the oily character comes out of there too, but then you've got some nice juicy oily fruits at the front of the palate there as well. So overall, a really nice New England double IPA. This one definitely more oily in comparison to others that you'll find at the moment. If you enjoyed the Hey Femme from Dry and Bitter, like I said, I think this is one that's going to be right up your street as well. If you like a bit of caramel sweetness to your IPAs, you're going to enjoy this. Not in the same way as a West Coast IPA, right enough, but yeah, if you like orangey New England IPAs as well, this could be one that ticks the boxes for you. So yeah, let's leave it at that for this one. This one is the Ololeo, a New England double IPA coming in at 8.5% ABV from Stigbergets Bryggeri in Gothenburg here in Sweden. The latest addition to the Stigbergets range, and you will see another 3 IPAs from these guys reviewed over the next kind of 2 weeks or so. I've got a stupid amount of beer that I need to work my way through, and in some ways I'm excited for it, but in some ways I'm just like so yeah, we'll see. This is the first one that I'm reviewing out of that Swedish local box that I bought. So yeah, let's leave it at that. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. As always, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from Stigbergets as well. We will no doubt return to this brewery at some point in the near future, but in the meantime, check out this beer, check out my social media, and I'll catch you guys very soon. Till the next time, Slanja just now, check out Stigbergets Bryggeri, and the Ololeo is a pretty damn nice New England double IPA. More oily and orangey than some of the other ones you're going to find. Slanja, skål, cheers, catch you guys very soon.